What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr War Games, and today I'm going to bring you a test and combo guide for Dark Magician following the release of Battles of Chaos and introducing us to Illusion of Chaos. If you want to see the updated profile and you want to get your hands on these proxies, massive shout out to Alan Mack. By getting this video to at least 50 likes, I will put the links in the description below and update the video for you. With all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Now, I'm going to be playing this deck post-ban list with the assumption that possibly Verte is banned. If it is not, I will also be able to show you where you can go with it. But with Illusion of Chaos, it actually unlocks quite a lot of plays. This is obviously following the same build that I posted out the other day, focusing on the Dogmatica kind of combination with the deck as well. With the fact of Illusion of Chaos letting you add and then stack your deck, it kind of makes me want to play the True Name again. I know it's a very techie kind of card, but I still think it's such a good follow-up because it then lets you add the card that you've just put back to the top of your deck off of Illusion Chaos and then get a free monster on the board if you wanted it. So that is also something I will look into. After a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually a pretty nutty hand, I'm not going to lie. So what you want to do here is, if you're worried about Ash, you can attempt to try and bait it out. But ultimately, if this gets stopped, you've still got plays off of Rod and you've still got plays off of Servant. Now, the best bait out would be Rod, because that would then attract Imperms, Veilers, and Ashes. And then you save your Preparation of Rites. This is ideally going to go straight to your Illusion of Chaos. Your Illusion of Chaos is then going to lead you to a Magician's Souls, and you get to play off the back of that as well. So it's entirely up to you on which route you wanted to go for. I'll play it the safest route possible, but we're going to act as if everything does resolve. So we're going to normal summon our Magician's Rod, use its effect, and of course, on this one, I might actually want to take the Dark Magical Circle because I can maintain advantage off of the back of my Illusion of Chaos. Now, the only other option that you would possibly go for would be the Field Spell, and that would set up your Magician's Souls draws, but it's entirely up to you on where you want to go with that. So we're going to activate our Preparation of Rites as well. We don't want to do Circle just yet because we haven't legally stacked our deck. Then we're going to go for the Illusion of Chaos. We're going to put the Preparation of Rites back. We're going to activate Illusion of Chaos, so revealing this in hand. This will then let us add any monster that lists Dark Magician in its text. So we're going to add, of course, Magician's Souls. We then get to put one card back to the top of the deck, and I'm going to put back the Soul Servant. Now, there is obviously kind of changes in this as well. Is in theory, what I could do is I could actually use the Soul Servant to stack. So it really doesn't matter. Like, the best play here is I activate Circle, I get the Servant anyway. The alternative route is I actually put Illusion of Chaos to the top of deck and then change it by activating Soul Servant. So I think I might actually do that. I think by doing it this way, I get maximum potential from this hand. Keeping in mind as well, we've maintained our hand advantage. We haven't actually lost a particular card as yet. So we're going to activate the Circle, and then I'm going to change Soul Servant, and that's going to put a card on top of the deck. Now, the one that I want to be going for on this one, just because it gives me a little bit more, and if I do decide to bring out Magician's Souls, I'm going to get it even further, is Salvation. So we're going to put Salvation to the top of the deck. Keeping in mind, we've still got the Dear Servant. We still have so many plays to make. It's mad right now. So we're going to shuffle this up. We're going to activate the Circle. It doesn't matter what the other two cards are that we reveal because we're taking the Salvation. We're going to activate the Salvation in the field zone, and that's, of course, going to set us a Eternal Soul. So we've pretty much got that form of interruption with the Eternal Soul plus our Circle play set up and ready to go. So there you go. There's our Eternal Soul. Now, ultimately, from this position, there's nothing that I really want that's going to give me anything more from a draw. Like, the only thing off of a draw that I would get by using Soul's Effect to send Salvation would be the Timaeus Dragon. And ultimately, I'm not really too fussed about that. So I'm going to activate Magician's Souls. That's then going to send from deck to grave as cost. Now, you could send Dark Magician Girl. I could send Dark Magician. It doesn't really matter too much. The only real play that I've got with my Magicalized Fusion is it's going to set me up the Dark Magicians because I currently don't have a Dragon. So the only other way I can do this is we'll send the Dark Magician, but we'll summon it, which is actually where the dragon comes into play. Because then what you want to do here is you want to turn Dark Magician into Unduct, wherever he may be. Now, obviously, the issue with this is I'll get a draw off the Soul Servant, which is important later on, because we're going to use both these cards in our hand. So we're going to activate the Magical Eyes Fusion. An alternative option, if you didn't want to do that, is you could have summoned the Souls. The Souls could have sent this for a draw, and then you activate the Magical Eyes Fusion and you get the Dark Magicians. So it's up to you where you want to go for, but at this moment in time, we're going to banish our Unduct and we're going to banish our Dark Magician, using Magical Eyes Fusion, of course, and that's going to give us... Oh, before I did that, I probably should have Soul Servanted to draw one. Otherwise, I'm going to have an empty hand, which is not what you want. Anyway, so we're going to do all of that. We're then going to summon out our Dragoon. So all of our plays from this point on and during our opponent's turn is protected. The other issue as well is we don't have a Dark Magician in the grave for Eternal Soul, but we can sort that out later on. That's not a big issue. You're then going to activate your Nadir Servant, whatever the random card is, Eternal Soul. Activate Nadir Servant, and this is where you're pretty much going to get a window lock combo. So you're kind of in an okay position. There's not really anything you want to worry about. And kind of go from there. Now, like I said, there were alternative options of routes that you could have gone. So let me just kind of resolve this. So we're going to send App Cologne, wherever she may be. Send App Cologne. There we go. That will then allow us to resolve. Now we're going to draw the Schism. We're going to discard the Schism because we're going to go full combo off the back of this as well. And we can actually set up a second Dragoon for the next turn, which is pretty disgusting. Resolving Nadir, which will give us Ecclesia, wherever she may be. There we go. I'm going to special Ecclesia, put her in defense. Ecclesia's effect will then resolve, and she will add us a Maximus. Then going to special summon down the Maximus by banishing your App Cologne. Then you're going to trigger Maximus's effect. Now, of course, if you feel that you're going to be up against like a mirror match or anything like this, then you won't do Maximus. You'd go Philides and go a bit more defensive. But at least off the back of this, we're going to send Construct. And I could send Titaniclad for a Fleur de Lis, or I could send the Predaplant Chimera Philisa to search me out the Red Eyes Fusion. Honestly, I don't think my opponent's going to break this board, so I'm going to go Construct and Titaniclad. And then my Construct is going to add back the Schism. We're going to set the Schism. Nadir is gone. And in the end phase, our Titaniclad is going to go off, and that's going to give us a Fleur de Lis. So the only real reason, or the reason I went with the Fleur de Lis is it's kind of like if my opponent Dark Rulers me, I can still kind of interrupt them during this particular turn. So I've got my discard in the hand for Dark Magician, which is for Dragoon, which is absolutely fine. I've then got the ability of summoning Fleur de Lis, which will then negate one of my opponent's cards. So I've got two negations right there. I can then activate Schism at some point, whether it be earlier or before, and that will then allow me to banish Construct and Titaniclad to give me Winder. So my opponent won't be able to special summon, which I can control when I play that. They will get a negate off of Dragoon, and off the back of that as well, they'll also get Ascend if they play in Darks because of the second effect of Schism. And then my Dragoon will pretty much follow up the OTK. And if my board stays as it is, like that's just OTK play there already. So that was a very aggressive hand and a very aggressive stance. Like I said, the other alternative that you could have done is rather than going for Dragoon and then getting rid of the Dark Magicians from the graveyard, you could have gone the Dark Magicians with the Magical Eyes Fusion, but again, you still wouldn't have the Dark Magician in the graveyard for Eternal Soul. But the reason you would have gone the Dark Magicians is in the Verte, if we had Verte live, you would have brought back the Souls and Rod would have made Verte. Souls would have sent two to draw two, and then you would have been able to make the play there. So rather than sending Dark Magician, would have sent Dark Magician Girl, and basically you would have just got a bit more draw advantage than anything else, but you wouldn't have got your Dogmatica plays. And to me, if I'm playing it with Verte banned and basically using Dogmaticas as my go-to, then that's the better way of doing it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ultimately, this should probably be out of the deck for the pure fact of the way we're building this, but what is quite nice is I can actually show you off how good Drones is in this particular deck right now, with or without Verte. Like with Verte, it's a 1-card Verte. Without Verte, it can actually give me like an Appaloosa or a Link 4, which is really nice. So you activate Drones, you tag your Drones out into a Kagari, Kagari will then add back said drones, and you'll activate the drones, because then you don't... Sometimes it's really good to activate the drones early, because then you haven't got to worry about anything else. I suppose the good thing about the Eagle Booster right now is we can, in theory, protect our Appaloosa should they try to impermanent. I don't know why they were trying, like, impermanent Nibiru us, I suppose is probably what they might try and go for. Anyway, you tag out Kagari and you go into wherever she is, Kana. Now the reason you go Kana is because it has a zone pointing down, which is quite important. Off the back of this as well, what you want to do is you want to activate Illusion of Chaos, revealing it in hand to add a monster list Dark Magician in its name. Now the best one to go for right now, because we've already got souls, in my opinion, is going to be Rod. Konami, please let this be secret and Legendary Duel is free. Normal summon the Rod, trigger Rod's effect. Now, because we haven't got... Oh, sorry, I've got to put something back to the top of the deck, so we're going to put back Illusion of Chaos. Because we haven't got anything else to really utilise, to get the most advantage and to get the most draws out of Magician's Souls, I'm actually going to go for the Field Spell plus Eternal Soul. So we're going to go for, wherever it may be, there we go, Salvation, and then Salvation is going to set me Eternal Soul. Now I've got quite a few plays here, because I've got 2 spells here. Now the idea is that I want to get another spell to the graveyard, off the back of Souls, which will then make Selene live, which is actually really important. It also means that I can keep my Eternal Soul, which is kind of cool. So we're going to activate Magician's Soul. We're going to send as cost on this one. Now, the safest route would be Dark Magician, because then it means if you get to Magical Ice Fusion, you can still make plays. The unsafe route would be Dark Magician Girl. So we're going to go with unsafe, because, you know, why not? Now, at this particular moment in time, all you need to do is get rid of the drones into an effect monster, and then you're able to get into a negate, or like a full negate Appaloosa. But we're actually going to use it to go into a Selene, so we don't even need to worry about that too much right now. I'm then going to use my Magician's Souls. Now, because I've got 4 monsters on the board, if I wanted to hold back this and make these into a Selene, there wouldn't be enough spells in play or in grave to trigger her effect. So there's the reason we've put Souls on board, which means, in theory, Eagle Booster is going to be null and void right now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Magician's Souls, I'm going to send Salvation, and I'm going to send Eagle Booster. And we're basically, the best thing we can get here is Dogmatica plays, which we do with Ecclesia, which is actually really nice. And I'll get to that in a minute. So now what you want to do here is you've got 2 spells in the graveyard with your Salvation and your Eagle Booster. You're then going to use Kana plus Souls plus the drones, because it puts another spell in the grave. And you're going to go into a Selene. Selene's then going to have 3 tokens. She's then going to use her effect to revive a spellcaster. It doesn't really matter which one you bring back. You could bring back Dark Magician Go if you wanted to, but there's no real place to make from that point. So we're going to bring back our Magician's Souls. Now, obviously, in the world of Verte, you can make these Verte Dragoon, do your thing from there. But we're actually going to do this a little bit differently. So we've got the option to go for a 2 negate Appaloosa. To me, isn't really that great. Because I think our opponent, or most players, can play through that a lot easily. So I'm actually going to turn Magician's Souls into an Artemis, and then I'm going to use Artemis plus Selene to go into an Avramax, which is basically just like a very good towers. So it's good going both first and second. Now, in this kind of foresight, at least if you put Dark Magician to the graveyard over Dark Magician Girl, you'd then have plays to revive it off of Eternal Soul. So that's probably something I should have done. Regardless, what we're going to do here is we're going to special summon down Ecclesia. Obviously, we are massive threats in Nibiru, so going second, you probably want this to be Appaloosa more than anything, but that's entirely up to you. Ecclesia's effect is then going to go off, and she will then search you out Maximus. Now, because you've made all of these link plays, you can actually get a little bit further. So Maximus will then banish any one of, or probably better to banish the Artemis, because at least it's a light, so if you do make access code, you're going to have aggression plays there as well. You then trigger Maximus's effect, and on this one, you want to send your Apcalone, there we go, and I don't really want Titaniclad. I'm probably going to go with the Chimera Flesia, but it does mean that I lose my Magician's Souls, so it doesn't really matter too much. So you're going to send your Chimera Flesia. You're then going to trigger the effect of your Apcalone to add the Schism, and in this one you're actually going to discard your Magician's Souls, because you want the Fleur de Lis, it's still a negate in hand, and then kind of go from there. So then it's very simple. What you do here is you set the Schism, you've got your plays for window, which is great, and then pass your turn. During the standby phase, you then get your choice off of the Chimera Flesia effect to either add Red Ice Fusion, or you can add a Magical Ice Fusion. Now, Magical Eyes Fusion is only going to get you into the Dark Magicians as it stands right now, so Red Eyes Fusion is going to be absolutely fine. The only downside of Red Eyes Fusion is it means whatever you top deck will be your discard, which again really isn't that big of an issue. So you've got your plays here. Your opponent now has to try and out a towers of this. They can't attack any of these apart from him. And if they turn the board off right here, if I'd sent the Dark Magician, I'd still be able to bring back a defensive play. Otherwise, I've got the Schism. I'm going to activate that. I'm going to summon out my Winder. Again, if you wanted to, you could put it in defense because they still need to get past the Avramax, but that would be a little bit silly. Bring out your Winder. Schism would send if they've got a Dark. And then if they try to do anything that's going to interrupt you, you can go Fleur de Lis. You lock that card down. They can't special summon, and then you've got a towers that they need to deal with. And then the next turn, you kind of want to... Well, I've kind of messed myself up a little bit here because I should probably leave a zone free. Otherwise, Red Eyes Fusion isn't going to do anything. So yeah, the idea would be that I'd expect some of these to possibly die. But yeah, you've still got a board to play, and you could hold back the Fleur de Lis if you don't think that they're going to break it, and that's where your Red Eyes Fusion comes in clutch and just basically goes, yeah, cool, well, whatever you've got, I've just now got a Dragoon, unless you've got an Ash that's going to stop it. So that was kind of cool to be able to show you what the Striker engine does. And like I said, if Verte was still live, that top deck of Eagle Booster would have been broken mad. But because I'm playing it without Verte, you're good from there. I mean, the way I see it is, if I play this without Verte, then if it doesn't get hit on the ban list, great. It means my deck build can then, or the build can be improved. If it doesn't, then I'm already a step ahead of the game. So it's always pretty cool. So now we'll start doing 6 cards. We'll start seeing how good the deck is at breaking boards. Now, it is more of a control design deck. So it's going to be a little bit more tricky to break boards, but it's still going to be able to play through a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I never see these in my hand during plays. Like, what the hell is this? Anyway, again, I mean, these cards suck right now. Like, Fleur de Lis will be a very good boss monster that I can bring out as long as my opponent's got a extra deck monster. These cards are just a different matter. Like, this actually works out okay. Like, not great. I'm trying to think like how far I can get to. I think with the Fleur, I could probably get to an access code. I'll have to figure this one out. But obviously, drones into Kagari. I mean, if we're in time, we're in Dreamland because we're going to gain 200 life points. But that's none tomorrow. Anyway, Kagari. And then if they try to stop it, you can then Eagle Booster protect it. It's entirely up to you. The Kagari's going to add back the drone. You're going to activate the drone. So you've got your 2 cards on board already. Now, the whole idea behind this would be to be able to go a little bit further. But it's not always the best kind of scenario. Now, with what we've got here, I don't actually want to be... I could turn it into Kana, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. You'd probably actually have to activate this early. I'm trying to think... I can get into access code, can't I? I need to get a spellcaster to the graveyard. Can I do that? No, don't think I can. Yeah, no, I can. Okay, so yeah, I can get into an access code. I would have needed to have activated this to protect the Kagari anyway. Because then what I'd do here is you special summon down the Fleur de Lis. You then use your... you then activate the Soul Servant as well, stack your deck to whatever you want. Doesn't matter right now because until I can get this card to the graveyard, I'm not going to be able to draw it. But we'll use all 3 of these. So you've got a Warrior, a Machine and a Spellcaster with 3 spells in the graveyard. That's going to give you into your Celine. Wherever she is. There you go. Celine. Celine's got the ability to bring back a Spellcaster, which would be Fleur de Lis. I probably should have turned Kagari into Kana, because then at least I'd have another Spellcaster in the graveyard, another different attribute. So, and then this into Access. Access would gain 3 with a pop 3. It's still not game, annoyingly. And then you'd set the Eternal Soul and hold on to the Dark Magician. So, wasn't ideal. Like, definitely wasn't the most ideal hand. But what again it did let me do is it did let me show you how important the Sky Strikers are in this deck. Like, crazy good. And if you really, really wanted to, like, go in second, you could swap out the Eagle Booster for a Widow Anchor. But, I mean, I wouldn't, like, massively advise it, because then you're betting that you're going to get to one of your free one-offs, which is a bit clutchy. But Anyway, we'll redo that test stand. That was, again, didn't really get to show off the Dark Magician of it, but still. Anyway, so cut this up. Oh, card wants to run away. There we go. And then our opening hand of 6 for this time will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, cool. 6. Like, really? Like, come on. Stop wasting these on test hands. Like, I want you to be in my hand during normal tournaments. Okay, this is actually, again, a really nice hand. Now, if I didn't top deck this, the Herald would be nice, because the idea of Herald is you go normal summon, send Herald of Arclight from the extra deck, and then search out Illusion of Chaos. And then Illusion of Chaos, in theory, becomes your Magician Souls. The other thing that this can do, I will show you this route. So this one's more aggressive, I reckon. I reckon Diviner's going to be more aggressive than the Rod play. So we'll go drones, Kagari, add back drones, activate this. Do I really want to try and just jump straight into access? I probably don't, to be honest. I want to do a little bit more. So go Kagari, you've got everything out that you need to. So then what you do here is you're going to normal summon your Diviner. Diviner's effect will then go off to send your Herald of Arclight. Your Herald of Arclight will then trigger to add you an Illusion of Chaos. Now you've got 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos, which, you know, you're not really going to do a lot with it, but what makes this important is Diviner of Herald becomes a level 6. So what I can now do is I can reveal the Illusion of Chaos, I can add a Magician's Souls, I will put the Illusion of Chaos back to the top of the deck because I'm going to change this all up anyway. I'm then going to activate Magician's Souls. This will send, and we're going to go for Dark Magician Girl this time rather than Dark Magician. Dark Magician Girl and summon Dark Magician Girl. Because this then now unlocks Synchro plays, but it also unlocks rank 6 plays as well because of your Diviner. So you've got a lot to play. Like I said, this is a 1-card Verte. So if you were still playing Verte, if Verte is still legal, this becomes Verte, this becomes either Naruto, but the better one can be Sulkin plus Crystal Wing, and you kind of go from there. So we've got these 4 cards in our hand. You're now going to kind of whatever you want to do with these, really. In theory, I'm probably going to go for a Zolkin. I'm going to set the Soul Servant. I know I can't activate it this turn, but it is what it is. And this is going to bring out a Crystal Wing. Now, like I said, this is a Verte if you want it to be, but it can also be something a little bit more. Now, if we got a Spellcaster to the board as well as a free extender, which we can do with the Fleur de Ris, it then becomes an access code on top. So you've still got a lot to do. And like I said, Verte would ultimately try and get you into a draw too. So how far do I want to take this? Have we got the free spells? We don't have the free spells actually, so we can't. Celine's not going to be ideal. I mean, I can still get to access code whether I use Celine's effect or not. I don't think I need it. Where else can I go? So with 2 lids there, that's a link 3. Fleur makes it a link 4. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on how far you want to go. Can I clear board off? I think I can. So Kagari into Kana, and then use Kana, drones, Sulkin, not Kana, drones, Sulkin, sorry. Special Fleur, Kana, drones into Celine. No effect on Celine because there isn't enough spells in play or in the areas. And then you use Sulkin plus Celine. Go into Access. Access gains 3k. Access has 3 pops, light, earth, fire. Pop those 3. And then 53 and 3k. So if they've got a monster that's a level and a high level, Crystal clears over it. And then Access pretty much clears the rest off. So again, I mean, that was kind of cool in order to show you what Diviner adds to the deck, which I still think is a very nice kind of interesting interaction. But it kind of reaffirms my biggest fear of like, all right, well, what happens if I get Rod and Diviner? So in that scenario, Diviner was more aggressive. And like I said, if you had Verte, if Verte was still alive, then you wouldn't even need to think about it. You would just turn Kana into Kagari into Kana. You turn the token into Link Spider, and then use Link Spider plus Kana, make Verte, Verte Pay, dump Dark Magician, dump Red Eyes, give you out Dragoon, and then you've got Crystal, Dragoon, Verte, and kind of go from there. And if you really wanted to, you could have left a Kana on the board and actually used Link Spider plus Sulkin. So it would have given you a little bit more, and you would have gained a bit more life as well. Anyway, let's do our final test stand, going second being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, that's a more like Dark Magician hand. But again, because of Illusion of Chaos, it isn't actually that bad. It's a pretty decent hand that we can work with. Obviously, Verte makes it a lot better, and it's probably what we're gonna need to do in a particular hand like this, because there isn't really an ideal Link 2 that we can use and abuse. Even when we get Dark Charmer, which comes out in Battle of Chaos as well, I still don't think this is the ideal scenario. So, what we'd do here is, let me think about this one. We're going to go, Illusion of Chaos would give us Magician's Souls anyway. Oh, do we go with the Dragon? I think we go with the Dragon. Does it have to be, can I be more aggressive? You can send one spellcaster monster, also during your phase, you can fusion on one fusion monster for each that using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, including at least one spellcast. Oh, okay, I don't need to. Fine. I think I can do this. So, Timaeus, the Dragon of Destiny, puts Illusion of Chaos back to the top of the deck. We're going to normal summon Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod will then use his effect. Now, I think because I'm going aggression, I actually want to go with Soul Servant. Soul Servant will get me a draw, which is fine. I can get Magician's Souls. Wow, this is a really strange hand, but I love it. Okay, fine. So then what you're going to do is you're going to use your Timaeus the Dragon of Destiny. So you send a spellcaster monster or a spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician in its text from your hand or face up field to the graveyard. So we're going to send Magician's Rod. We're going to summon down Timaeus. We're going second, so again, keep in mind that we want to be aggressive. Now, the Timaeus Dragon doesn't actually have to use himself to fuse, which I think is amazing. Now, if I wanted to, this is Dragoon, but I actually want to show off the new card, because I love the new card as well, the Dark Master of Chaos. It requires Dark Magician plus 1 Chaos monster. If it is fusion summoned, you can target a light or dark monster in the graveyard and special summon it. You contribute a light or dark monster, banish all monsters your opponent controls. So, like, this is ideal. You just go Timaeus Dragon, fuse these two, summon this guy down. This guy's a 3k beater. I'm going to use his effect to target a dark in the graveyard, which will be Dark Magician. Now, I think the only way that this gets better... No, this is actually fine. Absolutely fine. You're then going to use the Dark Master of Chaos second effect. So... Tribute a light or dark monster to banish all monsters your opponent controls. Well, sorry, buddy. Goodbye, Rod. Banish all monsters my opponent controls. Nice. Activate Soul Servant. Put... What do I want? Do I want Magician's Souls? Yeah, sure. I'm going to put Magician's Souls to the top of the deck. I've got Dark Magician on the board, so I'm going to banish Soul Servant to draw said Magician's Souls. Activate said Magician's Souls, send in. Now, if I wanted to go for rank 7 plays, which I currently don't play any, I could do. Otherwise, I could go for Dark Magician Girl. Entirely up to me. We'll send that. We'll summon out Dark Magician. And we're going to go ham, bro. So 3,000, 2,500, 2,500, 2,800. That's game, because all monsters my opponent controls have been banished. So, nice. I actually like that. Cool. So, I think I would like to say this was an overall very insightful test stand. It let me show off Diviner. It let me show off Illusion of Chaos multiple times. It also let me show you off the new cards quite a lot as well. So, I'm really, really happy with that. I think that worked out quite nicely. So yeah, I can't wait to get this new stuff. Sadly, I reckon this is going to be like a Starlight and a Secret, so it's going to be hell to get hold of. And the new regional mat looks beautiful, so definitely getting that one. I highly expect this to be a Secret or an Ultra as well, and I probably expect the Dragon to be a Secret. So it's going to be tough hunting for Dark Magician players, but definitely going to be worth it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Like I said, if you want the proxies and you want the updated list of this, then make sure you smash that like button. Getting it to at least 50 likes will unlock that for you. As absolutely always, guys, stay safe. and happy dueling.